Welcome everyone to my first Arms Against Tyranny video. What you're going to be seeing here today is multiplayer footage taken when I travelled to Sweden recently to play along with Feedback, Korax, who works on the HOI team, Taureor, Stuyuki, Laith, Bittersteel and Dankus. So we're all playing as nations around the world. I've decided to play as Denmark in this match, and I'm attempting to create a fortress Denmark, but to begin with we'll reaffirm neutrality. And what you're going to be seeing here is just me prepping for the war ahead, because I know that Feedback, playing as Germany, is going to be coming for me at some point, and Taureor as the Soviet Union will probably be going for the rest of the Nordic nations, particularly Dankus, who's up in Finland. And there's me thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind a raiding fleet, we can try and intercept some convoys, and we're going to go for political unity just now. And obviously the early game is going to be focused on just reinforcing my economy, getting things sorted, and I'm also going to be criticising Mr. Christmas here, Mr. Santa, and trying to replace him and question our defences, for example. So you've got those different balance of powers that you can affect now, and I'm going to go to the tree which will allow me to rearm, and there we have Christmas Muller, the rearmament proponent, so we'll get him in straight away, and we'll start the rearmament because I have enough on the right hand side of the balance of power to go down that route. Or I'm going to take a little look through the rest of the tree first, so you can kind of see what it is, what it's like. Make sure to pause if there's anything you particularly want to see. And here I'm just trying out the international arms market, and I just really wanted to show off the fact that you can see how they're getting transported, which I just thought was a fun addition to the map. But yeah, I have a neglected military, economic crisis, and Danish industrial capabilities. All pretty bad debuffs to begin with. Also, if you're excited for Arms Against Tyranny, why not leave the video a like? It would be very much appreciated. And there's Dankus messing up the game state. Classic Dankus. And then we'll go ahead and fortify our borders. So, apologies that I am not kind of showing off everything in great detail. This was a live multiplayer match. Well, live for us. It wasn't live for you at home. It's not like I was live streaming it or anything. So I'm doing the commentary in post. And I've cut out hours and hours of footage where not a whole lot was happening. Because as Denmark, you don't really get to do a lot. So there we go, vote of no confidence, so goodbye to Thorvald Storning. And we need tradition and stability. So we're replacing one Santa with, well, with Christmas. Christmas Moller. I'm just deciding. I'm reading this to make sure I'm doing it correctly. And there he is! We replace Christmas with Christmas. Here we can see my initial defensive line, and you can see me kind of changing my division template. I'm just trying to make them infantry divisions as solid as I can, really. As I feel that that's kind of my best bet to be able to try and survive. And I don't really expect to hold on to much of the mainland in Europe. I imagine what you're going to be seeing is mainly the island defense. But there we are, Nordic security, and I'm going to try and invite people to our faction, as all the Nordics would be safer together. I'm sure you'd all agree. Okay, Nordic security has been completed now. And now I'm, oh yes, military cooperation program. We'd love that, wouldn't we? And let's invite Sweden and Finland to the faction. Do they join? They do! Huzzah! Perfect. Overall, I've got to say, it was really nice of Paradox to invite us all. Not overall, what am I saying? It was fantastic to be invited to Paradox. It was a very brief visit, so I flew in on... I left Canada on Tuesday, arrived on the Wednesday, so then I had Thursday and Friday. The event was on the Friday, and then I had to be up at 2:45 AM to get my flight, my connecting flight, from Stockholm to Frankfurt, and then a 10-hour flight back to Canada on the Saturday. Oh, here we go. Deploy the home guard. That's a feature that I was really excited about, just for the fact that you can deploy the home guard and get extra stat bonuses. Which it does cost political power and command power, but if you're fighting a defensive war, then you want that home guard to be able to deploy. You don't deploy actual units, it's just statistic bonuses that you get for being on core territory. That was just me joking around kicking. Was that Bittersteel from the faction? Just for the lols. Okay, so Dankus is now at war with Taureor. Taureor is going to be launching some major assaults. But we know it's Dankus. He's an experienced player. I know Taureor doesn't play in too many multiplayer matches. So it was incredibly brave and very nice of him to take on the might of the Soviets. He'd already been gobbling up non-player nations for the majority of the game. There we go. The White Death has cometh. And I'm still prepping. There's not really much for me to do right now. January 40. And they've landed in the north. The Soviets, that is. The north of Norway. So Taureor's doing whatever he can to apply pressure to all of us. But he is trying to micro, 3 or 4 players, and I'm just thinking, oh well, would a naval invasion work? I wonder, could I just trick him this way, this easily? The answer, as you're about to find out, is, well, no, not really. He did garrison his ports, and my units weren't strong enough to penetrate his line. I tried for a while, but it didn't really work. But worth giving it a go, eh? Yeah, there we go. You can just see not a lot. Nothing really happens. Deploying the home guard now. Bam! As I'm thinking to myself, yes, I imagine Dave, or Feedbackgaming, is going to be coming after me pretty soon. And this is me just taking a little look at the international arms. In fact, I have such a large stockpile that I decide to stick all of it on the international arms market, or at least half of it. Pretty much half, as I know... and sticking it on the low price too, so it would be attractive to anyone that wanted to buy equipment from me. And I think I'm also going to put some of my 1,000 artillery pieces as well. I really had more equipment than units that I could field. As you can see, my manpower is 0 right about now. Dankus holding perfectly fine at the moment, although the north looks a little bit dodgy, but we'll see as that goes on. Forming the Nordic Council, and then, oh, Germany's decided to join the Soviets, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this is it. Better prepare. There we are, and I immediately get pushback. Yeah, I was expecting to hold at least for a little while, but as you can see, I'd already had defences set up to try and get back to the Danish islands. And I'm also kind of rather pleading for help at this point, but I believe they were all busy doing other things, so it was just down to me to make sure I hold for as long as possible against the might of Feedbackgaming's Germany. Although, he wanted to show off if he could use essentially win the game just using the international arms market. So he deleted all of his Civ factories. So this probably isn't the strongest Germany you'll see. But it's still, it's forced me off the mainland completely. I'm trying to escape here right now, and I'm getting rather frustrated that they're not retreating in the direction that I would like them to. Have a little slurp of tea here. Apologies if my commentary is a little bit wacky today. Doing post-commentary is not particularly familiar to me. But hopefully you're enjoying this. There was a little bit of audio recorded alongside it, but it's difficult to hear, so hence why I'm having to do post. And there you go, I had just had 4, 5, 6 units just all encircled and destroyed. So now my only hope is to just hold this area for as long as I can. And we're also doing some decent convoy raiding as well, as you can see. And Germany occupies Western Poland. But now the front lines will kind of stabilise for a while. You can see Feedback's actually training his troops, which is just... that's bait, which I do go for occasionally, but I'm never really able to push back from that straight. He has way too many troops on there. And this is what happened for probably a couple of years, just me holding, units getting pushed back, units going back into the tile, Feedback trying to push through. So Fortress Denmark, holding, we're holding. I could put elevator music, well, there's going to be elevator music on in the background like there is in all my videos, but... just like that, cool waiting. Are you okay to hold? Well, yes, we're bloody well hoping we're going to. Insert generic elevator music. But this is what I was doing for most of the game. This was my experience of Denmark. I really enjoyed the focus tree. And the... apologies, I'm really terrible with names, but the gentleman who was designing the Denmark tree was very nice and watched my practice game and was asking for feedback. I've got to say, the developers were incredibly kind, incredibly nice, and I have never had a bad experience with anyone from Paradox, so just a quick thank you to them for flying me out and letting me get hands-on with Arms Against Tyranny. It's always a pleasure to be able to do these sort of events and be able to show you off some footage early. There we go. I'm still just moving my troops around at this point. I'm thinking to myself, ooh, if he pushes through, I've got absolutely nothing with which to hold. And here we have, he's changed his templates to Marines, and I'm just thinking to myself, ugh, he's training them on my border, and there's nothing I can do about it. He's just training them. Looks like they've cleared up the north now. And we're thinking at this point, well, is this it? Is this all they can muster? Is this all they can send against us? Literally training. God, it was so embarrassing to see that. So here we have Finland's pushing out now. And up in the north, they're doing their little encirclements and clearing up the Soviet pockets. But there is something that's going to happen really quite soon in a moment, which will absolutely rock our game to its core, to its foundation. And that is it. You can see the Soviets managed to land and launch a naval invasion behind our lines. And there was nothing to really stop them doing so. You can see that Sweden and Norway moved over to try and help me and left their own borders severely underprotected. So it's going to be a mad rush to try and stop Taureor and Feedback here from just spreading, because they are pumping units in. And there's no way for me to be able to counterattack right now. Sweden and Norway have got all of their troops out and are sending them back to try and stop this kind of last gambit in a way. So I am just trying to prep and hold as much as I can, but I'm getting forced back now. You can see the Marines, fully trained, push me out of my defensive tile that I've been holding for like a year, and now I'm just bricking it. I'm in the audio, I can just hear me saying in the background, "Help, help," because Feedback is pushing hard, and I'm just hoping I can get enough divisions to try and hold. And you'll see me reduce to like 3 tiles in a second. Taureor's managed to push further in to Sweden, and the United States has taken my Greenland from me, the bastards. But there we have it. I'm reduced to 3 tiles, and I'm thinking to myself now, well, this is dodgy. This is really dodgy. We still have 11 units of Taureor just trying to cycle charge onto one of our 3 remaining tiles, and you can see how far he's pushed in now. But as their defences start taking hold, it doesn't seem like Stockholm will fall anytime soon. Once again, we're just fending off attacks. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe Feedback has no supply here. Maybe I could take back a tile. Hello, Nigel. I'm just finishing some audio, buddy. There we go. Took back a tile. Very, very impressed with that. I think that's the only tile I take this entire game. However, we are getting ready. You can see the Swedish managed to take back Malmo. So then I launched an attack over to, I want to say Heisenberg, but it's not. And this is kind of where the game starts really just going in our favour. This kind of Soviet encirclement here, their final kind of gambit failed. And it was that 1 year that we had there was incredibly exhilarating to play. And that's kind of the end of Fortress Denmark. The game sort of ends in a similar situation. I don't really take back much else. But if you're wondering if you can hold as Denmark in Arms Against Tyranny, well, the answer is probably yes. I think you can. I definitely went down the defensive focus parts of the tree. The defensive tree parts of the focus. The defensive parts of the focus tree. And had a great time with it. So I'm very much looking forward to showing off more nations. Do let me know in the comments below what you would like to see. And yeah, there we are. I'm just mopping up with a few little encirclements here. And GG to all players that took part. It was a pleasure seeing everyone and getting to hang out with you all. And I can't wait to get hands-on with more Arms Against Tyranny. So, comment, like, and subscribe. That was my first experience of Denmark, and I'm sure you'll get to see another one. But for today, thanks again to Paradox, and it's ta-ta for now! Many thanks to the Patreon cult leader Jack Troku and Patreon champions Chancellor64, Haigu, Logan Whaley and Wyatt Green, and many thanks to all the other patrons, Twitch subscribers and YouTube channel members too. Thank you.